What is good, everyone? This is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. As always, bringing incredible guests from all over the world, so sit back, relax, and tune in. My next guest has a long list of accomplishments, so I'm going to try to shorten it as much as I can for you. She's a PhD in organizational and industrial psychology, as well as an MBA from Liberty University. She's a thought leader, upcoming author, podcast speaker, seasoned HR executive with 20 plus years experience in everything from Fortune 500 businesses to new startups. She is also the CEO and co-founder of Talent Masters, with a background of being raised in a white nationalist cult to becoming a leading champion of DEIB and human rights. Please welcome Dr. Darla Shaw. Dr. Darla, holy cow, lady.
Wow, thank you. Man, I don't ever think of myself as accomplished, so that's lovely to hear from you. I appreciate it.
We never do, right? When I get on a show and whenever I do a guest appearance and they start rattling things off that I've done, I'm like, whoa, that sounds quite impressive. Thank you.
Oh, I appreciate that. Well, no, I appreciate you having me on. I'm really excited to chat. I don't normally lead with, I was raised in a cult, but
oh, I know. But that is fun. I think I've only talked to one other person on the show, and that had to be like way in the beginning. We're 5 years in now, about being a part of a cult. And I really am curious to ask like how that has molded you as a person into kind of accomplishing the things that you've done, overcoming that and getting out of it.
Right. Well, I guess to answer that, I need to explain a little bit about what the cult was and how I used. It was called Christian Identity. It's still out there. There's multiple forms of it. Wow. It's basically a twisted form of Christianity, where they believe that that white Europeans are the true Jewish people of the Bible, and the real Jewish people are children of Satan, and anyone who isn't white is basically subhuman. Like literally, I was taught that from the time I could talk.
That's terrible.
And no, it's absolutely horrible. And the most horrible thing about it is these seem like really nice people. Like on the outside, you wouldn't know that they were in this type of cult. They had jobs. They looked like normal people. They said hello in the grocery store.
Don't serial killers look like that too?
Yeah, exactly. There are some factions who kind of live in the woods and are living to themselves. Like, my dad I don't think he was always in this. He came from a Seventh-day Adventist background, and I think my great-grandparents were Jewish on his side, but they left that and became Christian. And so, like, that's not in our background, but he got to this way. My mother died when I was very young. I was 2 years old when she died. And I don't know if that kind of twisted his thinking or made him, angry or bitter or what, but he got in with these people and he became a preacher basically for this cult. So I wasn't just, my dad was part of the leadership of this cult. Oh. He was organizing events, and it was very, for a kid, I just wanted to be normal. Like even as a child, I could sense I was different because no one else was talking about these things at home. And so like, I remember one of my earliest memories was my dad dragging me literally to a KKK rally.
Oh my God.
In white, like these white sheep. I thought that it was a costume party, right? I was a kid and I was like, is this Halloween? And of course they're screaming about, the Jews and Black people and all these horrible things. And I didn't really understand it. I was just told that, this is the way it should be, that we should all be separate and we should all hate each other based on each other's skin color and background and religion, and we're superior. And I never really I just never really 100% bought it, even as
for you.
Because I was very friendly. I liked people. I liked being around people. I was very lucky in that my dad did not shelter me from the world the way other members of the cult did. Like a lot of them, they wouldn't let their kids in normal school.
Right. I was going to ask you about that. Yeah.
Yeah. But I was able to go to a normal school. And I've learned it's very hard to keep a prejudice when you know people.
Yeah.
Right. It's hard for you to hate someone when you're seeing them every single day and you're learning about who they are as a person. So at the time I was 12, I had been exposed to, I would call normal society, normal sane society. And so I kind of realized this is all BS, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. But of course, you go home every day to a family, you can't say stuff. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who disagrees with their parents' religion and keep their mouth shut to an extent. The difference was as a young teenager, of course, I started to understand just how wrong this was.
Yeah.
And I didn't fully break away until probably my late teens, early 20s when I met my husband, who was a very kind, caring man and started telling me, hey, this is all crap.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so I kind of feel like he kind of rescued me in some ways.
Well, I got a lot of questions there. So I'm glad that you had like this intuition that what they were teaching you was wrong. I think you were lucky to be exposed to normal life. Did you, I mean, I'm sure as you started making friends in regular school that you made friends with all different types of people, right? And did your family know that you made friends with other people besides your own?
They did, but unfortunately those friendships didn't last long because my dad would find out and then pull me out of school and then put me in another one.
Oh my gosh, that's awful. How freaking traumatic.
Yeah, I remember her name was Kia. She was the first, she was Black. She was the first Black person I'd ever really talked to because again, I was sheltered and I loved her so much. She was such a wonderful human being. She was so open and so, she's only 7, 8 years old, but she was so friendly. And she came up to me my first day of school. She's like, hi, how are you? Welcome. And I'm like, oh my gosh, why aren't you mean? Like, I was told you were a horrible person. Yeah. Why are you so nice to me? And she shared her lunch with me and we sat and we talked. And that was the day I realized I even at 8 years old, you start to doubt every little thing you've been told. As I said, it's hard to keep that prejudice, but she was like my best friend for the first 6 months of school. And then when I went home one day and I told my dad, hey, I met this girl, Kia, she's really lovely. And then I got pulled out of school, like literally the next.
Is your family still involved in this cult?
My dad is dead. He died when I was 25. I have mixed feelings because I loved him. At the same time, I kind of resent him, but he knew that I had kind of pulled away. It caused a strain on the relationship on the line. So, but at the same time, I think we still loved each other for who we were as human beings, even though we couldn't agree on certain things, obviously. But so he is gone. My grandmother, who was also very into it, she's gone. So I really don't have any family right now except for my husband's family, and they're wonderful people. And, so I have my mother's family is actually Jewish, but they are also gone, and so I didn't really have a chance to get to beyond an initial meeting in my 20s. So it's kind of like it's a little weird to be all alone, but at the same time feel in some ways better for it. I hate to say it that way. But, friends are my family. I have a wonderful husband, as I said, who's very supportive. So yeah.
What's good, everyone? This is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. So I'm very much into my vitality, my health and wellness, fitness, all those things. So I love the telehealth concierge services. I'm not sure if you're familiar with those, but there's an online telehealth resource to help you with your health and wellness, sexual health, weight loss, peptides, what have you. And I really enjoyed the last therapy I did with them. This time I'm doing weight loss, you guys, because I've been a little bit slowing down here at this age, and I'm looking for something to boost that metabolism. I highly recommend Valhalla Vitality. I have a discount code for you, Deanna15, and I will have the link in the description below for you to go sign up. Check them out, get your appointment scheduled. You'll have a meeting with a great telehealth doctor, supervisor, consultant that will walk you through what it is that you're looking for to improve in your vitality. Again, this is Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast, and I'm here to endorse Valhalla Vitality. Well, I think that there was, I feel like we all have our own unique journeys that we're on. And it's always about the journey, not the destination, in what we learn and what we can do with these things that have been imprinted on us. And I think that, you don't look like that old. I'm 47. So, how long ago was this when you were experiencing being raised in this cult? Because for me, it's kind of like mind-boggling to think that those kind of things are still happening in today's world.
It's crazy to think it's still happening in today's world, but I promise you it is. And it's deeper and more pervasive than people really know. I'm 41.
Okay. So, younger than me. Oh, wow.
Yes. So, so 20 years ago, 2001, 2002 was when I guess you could say I broke away from it right after I graduated high school. And even then though, my dad was still active in it. It was very, he was on what's called shortwave radio. That's where a lot of these people proliferate. And then of course there's specialty forums and stuff like that. It's not everywhere. It's kind of like hidden underneath or like miles, stuff like that. So people go to regular churches, right? So you would never know that they have these beliefs under the surface. I'm not going to make it sound like some sort of conspiracy because I don't believe that they're the majority of the population, but I do think that they're out there.
Yeah.
They're extremely insular. So they don't trust the government. They don't anyone who's in the mainstream. So it's kind of hard to weed them out and find them. I can spot them a mile away. Like I can literally go to a Walmart and be like, yep, that one right there and that one right there, But for most people, they just don't even look. They don't even notice.
Do you feel that you have any guilt from being raised like that?
Oh, 100%. 100%. Like, to think that I, even as a child, for a single moment, believed even a portion of that, right? We accept the reality that we're presented with. Intellectually, I understand that, right? As a child, your parents are your whole world. They teach you about the world you live in and your universe. But, I have friends of every color, every religion now. And to think that at any point I would have thought or let someone else say things about them. Like, I'm very protective of my friends. You say something against them, I'm going to be like, hey,
yeah.
You and me. So the fact that I guess you could say I feel like I let it happen, like I was complicit, like I even, I had no choice. I was a child. Intellectually, I get that. But yeah, there's a lot of guilt. There's a lot of shame. I don't talk about this with everybody. Like, this is the first time I'm really like getting it out there and saying, yeah, this happened. But the only reason I'm doing that is because I want people to learn from it. I want people to understand. We talk about racism a lot in our society and it becomes a buzzword and I feel like some people are getting sick of hearing it.
Yeah.
But that's a problem because it's still out there. It exists. And pretending it doesn't is what allows these things to happen. It's what allows children to be raised with hate.
Yeah.
And so that's really what I'm about now in my career. You asked kind of how this affected me. I went into, for a while, I just sort of did what everyone does. I got a college degree, I got a job, married, all those typical things. And I tried to just sort of forget, but it always hung over me.
Sure.
It always felt like kind of haunting me in the background. Like, you're different than everybody else. You're never going to be normal. And then I started thinking, how can I use this? Because I feel like my family put a lot of negativity into the world.
Sure.
And I really wanted to take some of that out. So when I finally decided I want to leave corporate America and work for myself, I said, you know what? I want to do something that helps the world, that doesn't just makes money, which is great, right? I don't like it. But I want to do something that helps businesses, but also helps people and builds communities and builds up some of the things that my family helped to tear down. Yeah. So my company, we do focus a lot on DEI and inclusion.
For those and I know what it means, but for those that are listening that might not fully know what those that means, can you just tell them really quick, like what the
Sure.
DEI stands for?
Yeah. So diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. It is now we do what I call the real talk version, meaning I don't just put you in a class and we lecture to you about how you need to love everybody. No, we have some serious, hard conversations because, again, I've been in those situations. I know what people are thinking internally, even though they don't say it and they just smile politely. And that's really what we do is we build communities, okay? It's not about your skin color. It's not about your religion. It's about what are the things that make you unique and how can you bring those to the table in a way that helps everybody, right? Because I feel like we're together, the more we bring back into the world our individual, perspectives and experiences, making a place where everyone feels included, where everyone feels represented, where everyone feels like we're part of something larger than ourselves. We're a human community, right? We're not divided to these categories that we keep trying to put ourselves in.
Oh, but propaganda wants us to be divided.
And that's the issue. I've seen it on both sides where it's become so political, right? And no one wants to touch it anymore. They don't want to talk about it because then they'll start an argument with someone.
Right.
And that's the opposite of what we should be doing. We should be having these conversations. Yeah. We should be having the tough talks. When I started doing this, I had a trucking company that was probably 80% white male and then 20% Hispanic. And one of the gentlemen there had a Nazi tattoo on his shoulder.
Ooh,
and he was giving of course he kept it hidden, and he was giving the Hispanic population there hell every single day. And it got to the point, of course, where there were several complaints and stuff like that. And that's when they called me in and they said, we really need to figure this out. This guy's been here with us for 30 years. We don't want to fire him. He's being completely inappropriate.
Right.
I said, well, let's get some real conversations going. That man, by the end of that session, was breaking down and crying because one of the people that he was bullying told him the story about how he came here from Cuba on a little boat with his family with but 2 cents in his pocket practically.
Wow.
We became friends, and he got that tattoo removed.
Good. Oh my gosh, I'm going to cry.
Yeah, but that didn't happen without both sides being willing to sit down and talk, right? That doesn't happen if you avoid each other or you call each other names, you listen to each other. It came from a place of fear. All hate, all anger comes from a place of fear, right? The news saying, all these immigrants are going to come in here and take your jobs. And that was kind of the way this guy was like, right? Yeah. That's what he was told. Just like my family told me horrible things. I understood now where that comes from. You have to approach these things with a certain amount of empathy and not just say, well, you're a terrible, horrible person. There's a humanity there that you have to find. And if you can find it and teach people to see the humanity in each other, then the hate goes away. The fear goes away because you realize you're like me and I'm just like you. We all bleed red.
Right.
And you have a family that you love and you support, just like I have a family that I love and I support. And I cry at movies just like you do, right? Like these little things, they sound so trite, but they're absolutely profound because you don't empathize with other people. All you see is the threat.
Yeah, for sure.
You have to be the threat.
Yeah.
And once you take that away, then you can see each other.
Yeah. No, I love that. See, I was blessed enough to be raised. I was born here in Chicago, but moved to Michigan to a very small town. My dad's friend was Mark Siljander, the congressman of Michigan. And I like he moved us to a small town where we're trying to make an impact, make a difference. And we were the only white people in the neighborhood. So my best friend was Tamika and Taurus. My mom used to bring them in and give them baths and feed them. And she was my best friend. Unfortunately, they're no longer alive because of the circumstances of their life. But for me, I was raised with an appreciation and love for other people, right? And so not everybody has been exposed to that. They've been taught something completely opposite that has kind of like framed their way of thinking about others. And it's super unfortunate. And, you know, with everything that happened a couple of years ago with the, the pandemic, I really saw an increase in that division and just like how the narrative was kind of pitting us against each other. And it really, I was crying, like sobbing, watching some of the stuff that was happening on the news and just kind of that divisiveness that was happening. So I think that what you've been through has empowered you and have leaded you down this path to make a difference, to help bridge those gaps for people and point out the fears that people have that are not false evidence appears real, right? It's not real until we it's like not, I think people lack education too, like understanding different fractions in society. And maybe when you have those conversations and they can understand the, different cultures, that they are able to come together. How has that allowed you to create in the Talent Masters? You're the founder and CEO, and how it's making a difference in the consulting and recruiting world.
So I would say, first of all, we don't focus just on putting butts in seats.
Yeah.
A lot of recruiters do. They just throw a resume at you and like, here you go. We are focused on fit first, as I call it.
Sure.
Meaning I want to make sure that someone who goes into your organization has the correct work style. Maybe you're all buttoned up and you're all about processes and procedures, and that's great. Not everyone is that way. And like me, I'm a creative visual person. Like that would drive me crazy. I can't have too much structure or hierarchy. It just makes me nuts. But at the same time, put someone who is that way, who loves structure and processes, into a chaotic work environment.
Right.
That was actually what my thesis was studying work culture fit and its work styles. And by the way, culture, can be used to discriminate. A lot of people think of culture as sameness, where, you're 50 years old. You're not going to fit in with my young, hip vibe of a group over here.
Right. Yeah.
So that's not culture. Okay. The culture is nothing to do with sameness and everything to do with how you work and what you value.
Sure.
So we do that for our clients for free, because a lot of them don't know how to do it. They try Myers-Briggs or something, which is basically just, personality testing, right? We go beyond that, talk about work style. So that's the big thing and the second thing is we teach them how to hire without the prejudice and the bias that is inherent in all of us. Names on resumes, for example. You see a name, you might be able to figure out, is this person, from India? Is this person African American? Is this person it's easy to sometimes see by names, and then immediately your brain starts triggering your biases. Yeah. First of all, work on those biases. What are they, and why do you think that way? And what were you told that made you think that way? And then secondly, we create systems and processes to where it doesn't matter. Sure. All you're looking at is their skills, their value that they bring to the table. And then we also allow companies that want to be more inclusive. We show them how to bring those communities in. So we partner with organizations that are helping veterans and people with disabilities. One thing to know about my entire executive team, we are all either neurodiverse or religiously diverse or racially diverse or LGBT diverse. We are a huge mix. We're all women, but we're a huge mix, and we all bring these things together into one cohesive unit. And and we're politically conservative and politically liberal on both sides of the spectrum as well. So
you're running your business label free, just bringing that togetherness and that diversity. And I love
label.
I love it.
Hate labels.
Yeah.
But the human brain tries to put people into packages.
Absolutely.
we break down those barriers as best we can. So you're not looking at skin color, you're not looking at political background or a nationality or religion or any of those things. You're looking at the human. I believe in human first hiring is what we call it. And that is how we run our business, and that's how we help companies really bring in the best people. We call ourselves dragon hunters because we're not headhunters. We believe in finding purple dragons instead of purple unicorns. Purple dragons are people that are passionate about their business. They're not just sparkle. They actually do the work and find the dragon treasure, etc. So we're dragon hunters.
I think had you not gone through that experience with what you went through as a young person, you wouldn't be on this crusade to really kind of have this inclusivity, like with what you do, not only in your business, but in your message too. I really can hear it, and I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. Well, we give 10% of all our profits to human rights organizations and charity communities, to help build up underrepresented communities. Again, I want to put something back into the world.
Sure.
To kind of make up for what my family took out of it. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's not my responsibility. Maybe that's a guilt thing. But you know what? I'm cool with that. I'm actually cool with that. Because to me, you have to have a purpose in life. Yes. You have to have something that motivates you and drives you and makes you want to get up out of bed every morning. And I feel like that's what God put me on this earth for, is to build communities rather than tear them down.
Beautiful. Oh, I love it. With that being said, Dr. Darla, where can people find you, connect with you, learn more about Talent Masters and just about the work that you do within the community?
Yeah, you can visit us on talentmasters.com. We're also on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. I am happy to share those links with you. But on LinkedIn, we're Talent Masters LLC. On Facebook, it's the same, Talent Masters LLC. We're also on Instagram, YouTube. So we are trying to get our message out there. We just had a press release talking about our culture assessment program. I'm going to be speaking at SHRM 24 this year. Cool. I'm also speaking at UC Berkeley. So I've got a lot of fun, exciting stuff coming up.
Awesome. All right, you guys, we'll put those links in the show notes. So if you connected with Dr. Darla and all the work that she's doing, or interested in potentially finding talent, or you are talent looking for work, go click the links, go reach out and just, start a conversation. Dr. Darla, this is the part of the show where I like to ask for last words of wisdom or advice. What would you like to leave with us today?
Question what you've been taught. Don't be afraid to always look at what you were told and verify. Yeah. Verify for third parties. If you're on one side of the political spectrum, go check out what the other side is saying and do so with an open mind. Yeah. Don't let yourself get locked into that echo chamber where all you hear is what you want to hear.
Yeah, for sure. Beautiful. Well, thank you, Dr. Darla, for sharing your story, being open about being a part of the cult and the trajectory it's had on your life and doing all the good that you are doing now. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You guys, this is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. As always, don't forget to subscribe, follow, rate, review, comment, share, all those good things. And I'll be back soon.